Welcome to GHOSTWATCH2016. We're watching Kamen Rider Ghost. My name is Coriander Dickinson. I've seen some Kamen Rider.
My name is Heather Deary. I've seen... What? I've seen something, yes.
Heather's seen things.
My name is Kate Stark, and it's been so long since we've recorded a podcast. All of my previous knowledge of Sentai or Kamen Rider is gone. I am starting from scratch.
Good thing we're on episode 19.
Explosive, the heart to make art. What a good title.
No!
I forgot.
I'm not getting that tattoo.
I think we should, though.
I want to get the heart one.
And remember, I gave you explosive, and I'll get the one that says to make art.
Yeah, do you not see the sacrifice she is making by being at the end?
For you.
As long as I get to draw it. And we do
Draw
yours
it
first.
or actually tattoo it?
Just do the drawing. A real professional should
We
be the
should-
one to stab you with needles.
We should not amateur tattoo anyone. Ever.
This week on TTSF.
No!
Last week. And by last week, I mean month?
Last episode.
Last episode.
Previous episode.
Previous episode, we asked some serious questions, like, are scissors people?
I don't know if we actually adequately answered it, but that's okay. Listen to last episode.
We also had sweet little Miss Takayaki, and a quick little field trip to Ganma Hell.
Now we are sitting at 70 days until permadeath.
And unknown icons.
I
'Cause they stopped caring.
don't believe in permadeath until I actually see him permadie.
So we got Pretty Boy sitting on a roof, as per usual, having flashback memories to when Taco told him that he was not truly besties with Spectre. Spectre is his name, yes.
The amount of times we forgot character names in the show was hilarious.
It's really hard because they use different names for things than we do.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. We have come up with the superior names.
The only one that we keep the same name for is Canon. So I was thinking we call her Camera.
I think her name will arrive.
Yeah,
in
we
the
haven't
future.
found her suitable actual name yet, and I think
Her
it'll come
true
up.
name.
Her true name.
However, we do need to discuss one thing real quick, which is we have renamed Ganma. We don't call them Ganma anymore. My computer, it has been so long since we've recorded an episode that when I type notes, my computer has autocorrected Ganma to Gnome.
And that is infinitely better.
It is the perfect name. It is truly their true name. Gnome.
So now, just so you guys know, when we refer to gnomes,
It's Ganma.
we're talking about Ganma.
They're ghosts or objects that are possessed by ghosts. We don't know how they work.
They're
Gnome
gnomes.
goats. Ghosts. I said goats.
Now they're goats. Now ghosts are goats. No.
No, they're
No.
ghosts.
Wait, are we keeping them as gnomes?
They're gnomes,
Yes,
but they're
yes.
not goats.
I said goats by accident. It's just ghosts.
Gnome goats.
Look,
Gnome goats.
I'm having a hard time speaking. My voice still hasn't fully come back properly from the stupid
From the trip it took.
desert bus thing.
So some very little important things happen here. It's just Pretty Boy talking to Spec-Rom, who's still possessed. And then
Did we
I think as he leaves, some shiny stuff happens to Spec-Rom's face mask. I don't know, to like...
He's having a conversation with Spectrum about how they have a perfect relationship.
And we just get like a tiny head nod from Spec-Rom.
I don't think possessed Spectre gets to have lines,
Or an opinion.
or maybe even the same actor.
We'll never know.
We jump over to Snapple HQ into the science basement lab, where some gnome bits are being scienced on.
Not those kind of gnome bits, though.
It's the tiny shard of gnome that,
The
that
icon.
Akari picked up.
Shard of Icon. Sounds like a magic card.
Shard of icon?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it'd be an equipment piece of some sort.
I was going to say flying creature, because that sounds amazing.
Well, an
Ooh.
icon's a flying creature, but like a shard of icon, maybe it just like temporarily boosts something, or you stab things with it.
I don't play Magic.
Neither do I know, but I know enough buzzwords.
Maybe it's a vehicle.
Ooh, I like that.
Is it a Gear Hulk?
Wait, no, okay.
Can we
Now that we're
make magic
converting this
cards
to
of all the
magic.
things we're doing?
So Rocksneck, definitely a vehicle.
Yes.
You could like power that with like one creature or something.
Mhm.
like
Condor
that.
phone.
Condor phone as a
Well,
vehicle? Condor phone's an artifact.
Yeah, flying
Creature.
flying
I'm
artifact.
just-
creature.
I'm just
yeah.
throwing things
The
out. What
tiny
about?
table friends are artifact creatures.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Cool. So
Uh,
Captain Ghost is a part of
Monolith, definitely an artifact. Not a creature, even though it has a sun.
that. Right.
Oh, that's gonna be a really nasty shock to Spider Lantern friend when he finds that out.
It looks like we're pulling in like Kamigawa spirits again. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
What about Urisen?
White creature, ghost,
Flying.
Yeah.
clearly flying.
Illusion?
Illusion. Yeah, I like illusion.
Oh, maybe it's like that one that knocks over candles. There's one.
I feel like Urisen would knock over candles.
Yeah, Urison would knock over candles.
Yeah,
Just
with
take that creature and then replace it with Urison. That existing creature card.
all I can think of is Pokemon and the candle Pokemon, and it's not really relating to
Litwick?
magic anymore. Yes, Litwick. Anyway, Taco Time is lining up all of his icons in a very pretty, like, double row
He's
section
got a lot
thing.
of icons now.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna put these together and have some flashbacks and talk about friendship, and one of the white ones will kind of move a bit, so look forward to that.
He hasn't learned to put them in a safe yet, though.
Or maybe a briefcase, which we know you can get custom made so that you don't have to line them up
And
every
you
time
know
you
what?
need them.
I don't think that guy is using his briefcase anymore. He could probably find it on eBay, used.
It's
get it
probably
real
just
cheap.
out in the field, in the yard.
Yeah, he might even just be able to go pick it up.
Taco, just quick note, just go swing by the field, see if it's there. Just drop by real quick.
Yeah.
It's probably still sitting.
It's a nice case. It fits all of your icons perfectly. Maybe you can even put your belt in there at some point.
I bet you could get one off QVC. And they probably got like a holiday bundle, so you can get like 2 for the price of 2.
Do you need two?
I mean, what if one breaks?
Okay, so one will be your plain everyday icon case, and your other one will be your festive holiday case that has some different festive icon looks on it.
Oh no, you know what they'd do? They would brand it Kamen Rider Ghost. It would be like his face, but like maybe oddly proportioned.
It would be.
It would just be like a skinned briefcase.
Why haven't they done this? This is clearly a marketing thing they should be putting in the show.
Maybe they have, and we just haven't got there yet.
Yeah. We've got like 20-something more episodes to do, 30 more episodes to do.
I feel disappointed they haven't shown it already.
Yeah.
They're drawing out this hype too long.
So as the icons are on the desk,
We hear some beepings from the laptop that Akari's using to do her analysis.
this is probably my favorite piece of science she's ever done.
Because it's just like, oh man, there's a lot of stuff going on, and like slowly these words form on the screen. Analysis impossible. And she's super excited. She's like, Taco, come look. Come look at this. This is great.
No, it's not.
And then our sweet little white icon boy just kind of moves a little bit and looks at Taco. Taco does not notice.
Smash gut to Gnome Hell.
Okay, I just forgot we called it that.
We got Sweat Bro and Steampunk Man, Mr. Steampunk, and Sweat Bro is all like, you're gonna have to do better if you want to be the new magistrate. And then he goes like, wanders off and is like, I'm going to rule Gnome Hell. So we kind of know what his motivation is. He just wants to be in charge. And I think Mr. Steampunk just wants a better job, better benefits.
Don't we all?
I mean, benefits are always really nice. I'm assuming Gnome Hell benefits give you maybe a step stool or something.
Did you know being self-employed doesn't give you paid sick days?
What?
Yeah. I learned that recently.
How recently?
Last week when I was sick.
Did you talk to your boss? I mean,
My boss is a huge...
I think her boss might have also been sick.
oh, is your boss also? It's really hard to
really
communicate sick days when you're both sick.
It was spreading. I pinged her in Slack, but she didn't message me back.
Yeah. She might be off on holiday.
Oh, did she take like a whole month for December?
I think she went on a cruise
Oh, without you?
to Alaska.
To Alaska?
Oh,
An
Alaskan
Alaska cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, la-di-da.
I know, she fancy.
Well, you should, like, go out on your own vacation in response.
Is your boss even gonna like notice if you leave?
Maybe not. You know what? I'm going to go to Seattle on Wednesday. See if she notices.
Yeah,
She'll be in Alaska.
exactly.
Just don't tweet about it heavily, unless she doesn't follow your Twitter. Does your boss follow your Twitter? You really shouldn't do that. That's a bad idea.
Maybe get a private
I
Twitter
was
so
going
your
to say, I
boss
should
can't
make my
follow.
Twitter private.
Yeah.
Yeah, get only a friend Twitter.
Done.
So now we are outdoors, and Mr. Steampunk is looking at an office building? Question mark. It's weird shaped.
It's not an office building for long. It becomes an art building.
And he's all like, let's begin the Demia project. And we see some, like, brush stabbing some paper with some paint on it. That's how I can describe it. It's very blurry. And then the building turns into, like, a piece of abstract art. And then we're like, oh, someone turned this building into a paint building.
Art building.
But like a cartoon.
Very loud primary colors.
What I like is that they keep showing the inside of the building, and it gets all wavy, but they never do anything weird to the inside, really, because it would be impossible for them to have the people there and then the weird cartoon art.
It was literally the special effects artist being like, I can't do this. There's too many people, and you didn't give me a plate for this. I can't.
I mean, it was a locked off shot, so maybe.
Maybe they got a plate. Maybe they just didn't think of it, and they're like, you know what?
So we're outside again, and Mr. Steampunk is all like, "Whoa, this is great! What a fascinating ability!" And he turns around and walks like 2 feet.
And our eyes were accosted by this gnome.
I still don't know how to describe this gnome.
In my notes, I have WTF is this gnome. Describe this shiz. It's very difficult to do. So part of this gnome is green. Part of it is red. Part of it is yellow. There's a lot of eyeballs all over it.
There are eyeballs and mouths on it. It has faces in different directions. Like it's got its normal Ganma face, normal gnome face with its eyes slightly offset, but then it like blends into several other painted faces.
Imagine if Picasso had designed a Ganma and then puked that design onto this gnome and then peppered it with a Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, there's just like a big Statue of Liberty crown on the side of its head. So from one direction, maybe it looks a little like the Statue of Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty is the paprika on top of a deviled egg of this gnome.
There's another building on its shoulder that I feel like we're supposed to recognize too, but I don't know what it is.
And it's holding an art palette.
The most beautiful art palette I've ever seen.
Like a Bob Ross paint palette, which you can tell props spent hour on.
Those blobs, so 3D.
And he's got like a little side holster for his brushes, for his four. Okay, like, you know the evil eye for like Ganma Hell?
Mm-hmm.
That's branded on like all of his equipment. So it's like all of the brushes have a little eye on them on the side, and the tray that he draws or paints on has an eye on the back of it.
Look, in Gnome Hell, everything has the eye on it. It's a monopoly there. You can't not get that brand.
How many eyes can I see on this gnome right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7, 8.
Oh, there's one ear. Oh, wait, I can see. Oh, ooh. I just saw the face that he's wearing as a helmet.
Like that red thing coming out of the green thing is an eye.
Of course.
Don't know why the yellow shoulder face. Maybe his chest is also supposed to be a
Did
face
they
that's split down the middle.
Combine several different paintings or something to make this? Do I just not know enough art?
Is the left shoulder the Eiffel Tower?
No. But I think the Statue of Liberty face is supposed to be like sideways and up, and that the green eye is part of the Statue of Liberty's nose. Like I think that's a face. Like a solid face.
It's all very confusing, but WTF is this gnome is very descriptive.
I also like that they used a lot of, I'm going to say, spare rope that they found around the props department to tie the slate that he's working with for his paper, and then also to tie the paintbrush holster around him.
The paintbrush holster, which is made out of like craft foam and hot glue.
Yep.
And then very poorly spray painted black. The props in this show don't hold up in good lighting.
I feel like the props are maybe like, by the way, we need this.
Maybe they spent like a week making a paper mache head to stick on someone's shoulder. And then they were like, oh, we need a tray. We need to attach it to this costume. And people are just like, what the that was not supposed to...
Let's borrow some rope from the lighting department and we're good.
So he hands Steampunk a copy of the painting. And then I think that's basically it. He's just super into paint. That's his character trait.
He's the paint gnome.
He's the paint gnome. He gon' paint.
And as far as we can tell, nothing bad has happened to the building or the people inside of it.
It just looks bad.
It looks terrible, but the people inside are alive. They're not possessed. Nothing is...
They're kind of freaking out because they can see the wavy thing, like they know something is wrong with the building.
But they're not hurt.
No.
Which is important to note.
It is a little odd for this episode. There have been a very strange lack of explosions, which I was expecting from the title of the show.
Cut to a local grocery. There are veggies and fruits, and Onari is shopping.
Onari looks down at a tray of apples and goes, oh, I believe I shall have some apples. And as he reaches for them, they all turn to Picasso apples.
Like, I feel like that's a bit of a misnomer, because, like, a Picasso apple would still probably not be 5 colors. Would probably still be maybe, like, 2 colors.
They turn to abstract apples.
It's a very strange kind of apple. It's got a weird flavor to it. You can't quite describe it, and then it changes on you. And it really depends on what side of the apple you're eating to get that what flavor you're getting.
The flavor profile is all over the place. The mouthfeel is ridiculous.
So Onari starts panicking, and he reaches up to his head, which has the little wobbly effect on it. He, like, starts rubbing his head as it wobbles, and then looks in a mirror, I believe, to see what is happening to his dome.
And it, too, is transforming to be abstract paint cartoon.
Yeah, I'm getting really uncomfortable with this show deciding to do weird stuff to Onari's face.
Well, it's not to his face, it's just he's got some extra eyes on top of his head now.
Yeah, but
Totally
like
normal,
they
totally
did that
reasonable.
weird cut thing, and then this started happening, and I was like, please no more.
Leave our sweet boy alone.
Leave him alone. He cannot handle these kinds of things.
Onari puts down his basket. Oh my god, there's another eye. Sorry, that's a giant eyeball I just saw. Onari puts down his basket of fruits and veg and runs out of the store with a towel, a wrap, whatever, around his head to cover up what's happening, and he runs out screaming, assuming he's going back to Snapple HQ. And Painting Gnome is just outside of the shop, and he was painting, and he got really sad that Onari left. And he was like, "Aw, I was almost done."
Yeah, that's gotta be real. I'm assuming what they're going for here is that Starbucks experience of the person who goes and tries to do caricatures of people, and then the people leave before they can finish.
And so what has happened here is Paint Gnome has leaned forward slightly, and so we get a view of the back of the Statue of Liberty crown, and there's just like a giant eye in the middle of it, kind of like it's bursting out of a flower.
I mean, that looks really cool from that perspective. I still don't like it, but it looks really neat.
Paint Gnome then rips the painting that was Onari's head in half and drops it on the ground.
Back to science times. Akari is explaining how awesome it is that she has absolutely no information about the gnome bits.
And Tago Time asks the question that we all ask. You're happy that you have no idea.
And she's all like, yeah, that means the stuff might not come from Earth? Hello?
That's friggin' rad.
I mean, I'm glad we've uncovered all the mysteries on Earth so that we can definitely rule that out as an option.
Basically, she wants to define Gamma World scientifically because it's Akari. That's what she does.
And she's gotten into, like, a science fight now. She has a science rival to science fight with.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what's got her excited. In fact, she's given him a nickname, KMS, Killer Mad Scientist.
She shouldn't be allowed to nickname things.
No, she needs to leave that to us. His name is Mr. Steampunk.
So Taco starts reminiscing about things he's also heard about Gnome World. He seems fixated with the whole no wars he was promised by Pretty Boy. But then he remembers his field trip excursion that he took. And it's like, that place didn't seem like it had maybe a breathable atmosphere with all of the red and the ash and the corporate headquarters.
Akari and Taco are now looking for Gramps and essentially summon Urisen to see where he is. And Urisen calls them losers and is like, no, he's not home all the time. He's busy. Sorry.
He's super popular with the ladies. No, he didn't. Urisen didn't say that.
You said that.
I said that.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be. We don't
Part
know
of our
what his life
headcanon.
is.
That he's just a mad player?
That's why he's busy.
Total playboy?
Yeah, he's dating everyone.
It's why you can't reach him on the phone. You always get an answering machine. And we don't even know what the answering machine looks like or what possible creature it's connected to.
Because it's some sort of like transforming robot creature.
It is a tiny table friend.
Well, it will be. It'll be a tiny table friend cousin.
The spin-off show.
Yeah.
Tiny Table Cousins.
It's so cute.
Cannon then walks into the lab asking...
Well, she actually just like shows up. She doesn't really ask anything. She's just like, hey, taco time. And he's like, I'm going to look for your brother. Don't worry about it.
So clearly off camera, she's been like, have you seen my brother? No. Have you seen my brother? No. Have you seen my brother? We're getting there.
We got some other stuff to do, I might
We
die.
got to science these gnome bits.
And then Onari runs in with his head still covered, and he's just like, this awful thing happened, and it's paranormal, and you're just gonna... and the camera pans in so that you get real excited, and he pulls it off, and there's nothing wrong with his head.
So we can deduce from this that anytime painting Gnome rips up one of his paintings, the thing that had transformed detransforms.
At this point, I was expecting like no one to believe Onari that something weird was going on, and it to just be like, haha, we're going to have some hijinks. But it just cuts to like an iPad of images of things in the world that have been turned into paintings, and the two students are like doing show and tell. Here's like, look at this playground, look at this building, look at these apples.
What I really liked about the scene was like someone actually asks, why do they all look so crappy? And someone else responds with, it's abstract art. And I'm just like, that's funny. Also,
everyone's a critic.
I need to mention that I've written the word I down so much that when I wrote iPad, I wrote iPad.
E-Y-E.
I had to write it out. Yes. I don't... Automatically, it was just iPad.
My computer still autocorrects icon to iCup.
I don't think that's a very good app.
iCup?
I think it's probably one of those water apps that you put in how much water you're drinking.
Interesting.
So you can see how much you've been drinking.
Yes, exactly. I've got my eye on my water content.
Oh my god. I choose to hang out with the two of you.
You're the one that wants the tattoo.
I never said that.
Corey, we all agreed on the tattoo together.
It's not just me.
It's a friend tattoo. Are you saying we're not friends?
Corey, whoa, rude. Hodor. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is our podcast now.
Yeah.
Corey, you know what? This is your house. You can leave.
So everyone's all like, none of this art crap makes any sense. Why the hell is this happening? Let's go check out one of the sites. And they decide to go to a park where an octopus slide has been transformed into a monstrosity.
What I like is that Akari mentions how much she really likes the look of the abstract octopus. She thinks it looks better this way.
She would.
Whereas Onari thinks that he, in particular, is of interest and that none of these other things make sense. So it's like, of course they would target me, but why would they target this slide and make it gross?
Or those apples, or that traffic light we took a picture of. Why does anyone target anything? What is art?
And as they're having this discussion, Taco hears the art gnome behind him muttering and then goes over to investigate.
Taco Time's friends are like, well, you should defeat him. And Taco Time's just like, but he's just painting. And they're like, well, stop him anyway. And so he says, hey, could you stop painting my friend's head? It's freaking him out. And like, no, I want to paint. Well, okay, fine. I guess I have to transform then.
Yeah, he was like super... He did it very begrudgingly. He transformed and went, okay, I'll deal with this.
Straight into Booster Juice. And I don't think the jacket hit the paint gnome.
No, I mean, there was no aggression towards the paint gnome other than Taco trying to grab his arms to stop him from painting.
Yeah, the jacket came and sliced the painting in half to stop Onari's head from becoming abstracted.
It hit the board that he was drawing on. But other than that, no physical aggression towards paint gnome.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hurt him because he seems different.
Like, he literally said, I'm just painting. He's not hurting anybody. Because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, so Taco tries to, like, talk to him and reason with him and not hit him.
Yeah, and Paint Gnome's like, let me show you. He starts painting, and Onari starts freaking out, and they're like, oh no, you're doing something to him, but it's actually his, Taco Time's driver belt starts to change, in which Taco Time freaks out a little bit, and Paint Gnome is like, oh, okay, and he rips the painting up and leaves.
Like,
and he's sorry about it. Like, he's sorry he freaked them out.
Paint Gnome was very proud of his painting. He held it up and was like, look what I did. And then as soon as they saw it and were like, oh no, my thing, he goes, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Oh gosh. Like, I actually think Paint Gnome is quite sweet.
He's really sweet.
Which is not something I thought I would say about
A gnome?
Well, especially a gnome with so many eyes.
So many eyes.
I mean, I think that's just so that he has different perspectives.
So now we're in the earlier art building that was transformed first. We're in, like, a server room. And Mr. Steampunk is all being hoity-toity. He's like, oh, my technology's much better than this.
I turned to Corey during this scene, and I just went, Sombra.
Because he, like, stands there and, like, a bunch of tentacle things tap into all the servers, and you get lines like, I don't know, is he sucking out the data? Is he hacking?
He's hacking them somehow, but the little tentacles were, like, blue and purple.
Yeah.
Glowy. And I was like, yeah, he's definitely Sombra.
So Snapple is walking through the park having a discussion about how awful it was that Taco tried to talk to a gnome. And Onari still feels weird about his head. And Cannon's just kind of moping along behind them. It's like, oh, it looks like they're really busy. Maybe I should go find my brother on my own. And none of them notice. They keep talking.
I mean, she is really kind of one of those background characters. At this point, she's not really interacting a lot. She's got her own problems. Everyone's busy, and she's being proactive. They do talk to Urisen as well after calling for him, and Urisen doesn't understand what the gnome is thinking either before they all turn around and notice that Cannon has left.
And immediately they're like, oh, she probably went to go look for her brother because we're not doing things.
Those group projects, you know, you gotta get your work done, and everybody else is so busy doing their own thing. You're like, fine, I guess I'll just do everybody's work.
So we cut back to the Wibbly Wibbly art building, and Mr. Steampunk has walked into the president's office, and we see the president run up and tell him, it's like, no, man, you gotta get out of here. It's really weird and wibbly in here. This can't be safe.
So Wibbly.
Wibbly wobbly.
No, wibbly wibbly. Those were your first words.
Swiggity swoogity.
And Mr. Steampunk's all like, no, don't worry about it. And he, like, tears the painting up.
The painting of the building. He rips it in half. And then everything's fine.
Everything's fine. And then the president's all like, what do you want? Mr. Steampunk just, like, tosses his possession icon at him.
Yeah, I guess he wanted the president.
Yeah, I don't actually understand why this building was made wibbly wobbly.
I'm guessing this is like a thing we find out later. That seems like really good quality paper that he's ripping up in half there. I feel bad about that.
Also, the president is just clutching a briefcase like it's his child. Maybe it's full of icons.
Maybe it's full of icons.
Yeah.
Maybe it's his, like, day-to-day icon collection.
Maybe he
These are
grabbed
like
that
casual
case.
icons.
He's gonna go to a trade meet later.
Oh,
like
man.
a swap meet for his
Do you
icons?
think they'll have a bunch of tiny table friends there? Or tiny table cousins?
Cousins.
Cousins.
Mhm.
Absolutely cousins.
Maybe tiny table friends come in to, like, judge competitions or something.
Oh, yeah, because they'd be like the celebrity judges.
Yeah, backclock MCs.
Amazing.
Rocksnack is their groupie. We're at the waterfront again. Pretty boy is still talking to Spectrum. I'm going to assume he's been talking to Spectrum this entire time.
Spectrum or Spectrum?
No, it's Spectrum now.
Spectrum. I kept writing it down as Spectrum because writing Spectrum down is really hard.
So it's Spectrum now.
Spectrum.
For those keeping track at home, Spectrum is now Spectrum.
because writing is hard.
Update your spreadsheets, folks.
It's very important to take consistent notes.
Yes, it is, Heather.
And this is the new consistency.
Lots of things have changed this
Also,
episode.
notes to Apple in California. Your devices are now I, like with the word I instead of the letter I.
Look, it was just easier to write.
How is it easier to write 3 letters instead of 1 vowel?
Look, I handwrite, and when you handwrite, it's a much easier flow to go I than to do the capital I and then focus on a separate word.
It's lowercase I.
It's a lowercase I.
Well, then I've
It's
been
a
writing it
capital
wrong
P.
the entire time. I'm not writing a capital P when I'm
Wait,
already writing a
wait,
capital I.
wait. You've been writing, anytime you refer to an Apple product, you've been doing a capital I?
Yes.
Do you pay attention to their branding at all?
No. That's Beach's job. He tells me all about the Apple stuff later, and it's all through words, so I don't see it written down.
You own Apple products.
I know, but I don't read the back of them. I'm busy looking at the front of them.
Do you have the internet?
No.
That's a lie. You just lied to me. That
It
is
was-
2
you know
friends
what?
who have turned on me today.
Kate, it was easier to write the word no than yes. It was one less character.
It's easier to smile than it is to frown, Hodor.
Actually, it is not.
Actually,
I've tried.
Let me
Let
just
me tell you.
explain smiling to you for a moment.
Let me tell you, when I try to smile, it doesn't properly go up, but when I try to frown, it's way easier. It just writes out easier. It's less characters.
Frown and laugh are the same number of characters.
Anyway, then we see Miss Takoyaki.
no, let's back it up a little bit. So we're at Spectre's waterfront. We're talking to Spectrum. Pretty Boy's like, "What do you? Oh, you like it here?" And Spectrum like nods. And it's like, "Oh, do you like the water?" Spectrum nods. "Oh, do you like the sky?" Spectrum nods. "But do you like it in Gnome Hell better?" Spectrum nods. He's like, "I love you, best buddy. You understand me, and I understand you."
This is why I stop nodding in conversations when I'm pretending that I'm paying attention, because this kind of situation happens. People ask you questions that you're not really paying attention to.
So you think
And-
Spectrum is like watching Netflix or something inside that helmet?
Yeah. Wouldn't you? He might be playing Pokemon Go, and he's just looking down because that's where the Pokemon is.
Yo, Crunchyroll is totally playing inside of that helmet.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
catching up on his animes.
Get those Ice Boys.
Crunchyroll and chill.
Chill with Ice Boys, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, ice skating boys, figure skating boys,
Yeah.
Yuri
Yeah.
on Ice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got there. I had a conversation with someone last night. Just by the way, this was on someone's stream, Jordan's stream, and it was like, I've never cared so much about figure skating in my life. And then Andrew pipes in and says, I dated a figure skater, and I've never cared about figure skating so much in my life since I started watching Yuri. It was very funny.
Just have so much fan art on my timeline now. It's amazing. Like, people that never do fan art are doing fan art.
I've never seen it. I just heard there's figure skating boys.
I have also not seen it yet, but I really want to.
I've heard it gets real gay, and I'm like,
Like, immediately.
yes!
Do you guys want to do, like, a side podcast?
I don't have time for more podcasts.
After this, like, just try not to watch Yuri on Ice until we're done
Yeah.
Ghostwatch.
Stay busy so you don't watch Yuri on Ice, and then
Okay.
when we finish this in like 40-odd episodes,
Yeah.
So in like 2
Yuri on
years,
Ice.
when
Yeah,
we
in 2
finish
years,
this,
when we finish this,
then
you can watch
then
Yuri
I can
on
watch
Ice.
Yuri on Ice.
and that'll be great because by that point, no one else will be watching Yuri on Ice, and it'll need a refresh.
Announced here for the first time. Yuri on Ice.
2020.
Oh, we're not going to call it Ghostwatch 2016 Part 2?
Yuri on Ice for president 2020.
I would.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we don't get to vote in that election, so...
So this is a worldwide election.
Oh,
good.
yeah, okay.
World president.
Yuri on Ice.
Yuri on Ice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm up for that.
Please send all your Yuri on Ice 2020 campaign poster fan art
To
to
Ghostwatch 2016 on Twitter.
On Twitter, thank you. Featherweight, we can't wait to see your entry.
Who's the skating mate?
Kanye West.
All right.
No, there's 2 people named Yuri in the series. There's 2 Yuris.
But if Yuri's
Wait, what?
There's Yuri and Yurio.
if Yuri's president, then who is Yuri's running mate, skating mate?
Yurio.
Oreo?
Yurio.
Yuri and Yurio.
Double
Yeah.
stuffed Yurio.
Yeah.
I was not aware of this. I mean, I might need to go watch something later.
No, you can't. You have to wait until 2020 where we do the podcast.
That's fine. I put it on my list of things to watch, and by the time I get to it, it'll be 2020.
perfect.
So Pretty Boy gets a craving for takoyaki or something.
As you do.
Like, he shows up at Mrs. Fumi's stand. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's, like, just talking to her.
She's like, hey, I see that the boyfriend is here. And he's like, what's a boyfriend? And she just laughs.
He's like, you're so funny, boyfriend. Are you a rich celebrity? And he's like, my dad rules the world, and he's a perfect being. And then we cut to Gnome World, and his dad is, like, standing, chanting in a pit.
With really, like, it does not look the same as the rest of Gnome Hell. It's very brightly lit. Everything's quite nice. There's lots of different colors for some reason. Like, cathedral-y, even.
Yeah. We don't know what he's doing. Like, there's a giant eye in the sky that he's talking to, or maybe just basking under because it's on fire.
And everything he's wearing is white.
Yeah, he's got the white military uniform instead of the thing. I propose, Best Dad as name? Or Perfect Dad? Alive Dad.
I like
Living Dad.
living dad.
Father.
Living dad.
Is
Living
he
father.
living?
So
I
Best
mean-
Dad.
Best Dad.
Dad ghost. No.
We've already got
Too many
Dad.
dead dads. We have too many dads in this show already.
Too many beautiful dads.
I like best dad.
We call them dads.
Daz.
Best dads.
Best as. Best as. Best as father.
Best as.
If you're wondering how we come up with names for
We don't.
things on this show, this is literally how it happens.
Yeah, this is a perfect example. We repeat words until we sound like other words, and then we repeat those words until we all agree that that was the best way we could have done it.
Do you remember when I couldn't pronounce takeru and it became taco time in episode 1?
Yes,
I don't remember. That was so long ago.
I do. We tried to tell her how Takaru was pronounced, I think, for another 2 episodes before we fully gave up.
And then we all accepted taco time into our lives and hearts.
So Mrs. Fumi is all like, man, your life sounds complicated. I'm sure your dad's great. Here, have some takoyaki. It's the best. And she, like, hands a free tray of takoyaki to Pretty Boy. And Pretty Boy, like, picks up the toothpick. And he's like, oh, this is just like last time.
Yeah, he still
What
can't
am I
eat
doing
it.
here? Why did I come talk to you, old lady?
He's still,
cheese.
he really still can't eat it. Like, he, like, is having a moment of crisis. Like, oh my god, this is an icon thing still.
His eye was twitching.
And then Mrs. Fumi's like, oh, you guys plan to meet here. What? Cannon has appeared in the distance. Maybe Cannon also wanted takoyaki.
I mean, I want takoyaki. I should go over there. Maybe not talk to Mrs. Takoyaki, though. She doesn't seem like she understands what's going on.
She seems chill, though.
Yeah, she seems cool. I just don't know if I want the takoyaki from her stand.
Pretty Boy's all like, get out of here, Cannon. You don't understand what's going on. And she's all like, I ain't leaving without my bro. You're a big meanie. And then Mrs. Fumi screams. So I don't like this because Mrs. Fumi is in distress, but it is because her takoyaki are turning into painting.
Yeah, and then Cannon grabs her and they, like, run out of behind the stand or something, away from the scene of action, so that I'm pretty sure so that Mrs. Fumi can stop freaking out about all the things that are about to really happen.
Pretty Boy then looks over and sees Painting Gnome sitting under a tree saying, I can't control my desire to create. The takoyaki was so beautiful, I had to paint it. And Taco, like, sprints in.
It's like, don't hurt precious paint gnome.
He's too sweet and fresh. He tries to befriend Paint Gnome. And he's like, you know what? You and I, we can be friends.
And Paint Gnome is like, what is friendship?
And Pretty Boy's like, oh my goodness, this nonsense again. Look, no.
Can't be friends with gnomes.
You can't be friends with gnomes. I said so. I understand gnomes. I come from a place called Gnome Hell.
Apparently, in Gnome Hell, painting doesn't exist. Because it's frivolous.
So this is the first time Paint Gnome has actually gotten to paint. So how did he get that name?
I don't know.
I think maybe he just was given this stuff because it's like, we have some leftover things to make a gnome with. And then when he showed up and Mr. Steampunk was like, hey, try this thing out. And he was like, okay, this seems like a thing that might be useful.
Are you telling me Paint Gnome was a bunch of spare parts that got smashed together
I'm
to
saying
resemble
That
a
would
gnome?
explain a lot.
I
It
am-
really would.
maybe
I'm
they
just
just had-
saying Paint Gnome is a platypus.
Oh, I was thinking, like, was a painting. Like, maybe they got Granica down there or something.
Oh,
and they were just like, here, let's make a gnome out of this.
I feel like from the costume design's perspective, there are probably like 3 or 4 paintings that they smushed together into an actual thing that I can't identify. But that might be giving them more credit than is actually going on.
So Pretty Boy gets fed up and transforms into Sanzo. Taco at the same time goes all booster juice.
I'm really glad they added the booster juice to Taco Time. You can get a good drink to go with your tacos that way.
It's not really a pairing I go for.
It's an option, and it exists now.
So they decide to punch each other with their magic powers. They just run up to each other and hit each other instead of using any of their weapons or anything like that.
Cannon wants them to stop, and the paint gnome is like, you know what? I'm just going to go hide behind this tree.
Cannon runs in and is like, no, stop. Stop, stop, stop. They exchange words. They're not nice words.
Taco wants Spectre to come back, and I liked this scene because Pretty Boy Sanzo summons Spectre from like a front shot that's like down low, and Spectrum jumps over his head to fight Taco Time.
Yeah, that was badass.
Mr. Steampunk comes up in the background to take Paint Gnome away, because he's done his job. Paint Gnome just wants to stay and paint, though. And Taco Time is getting the shiz beat out of him. He's not doing well in this fight, this 2-on-1 fight.
Spectrum goes to use his Omega Shot blaster or whatever it is, and Cannon gets in the way.
She, like, shields Taco with her body.
Yeah. And Pretty Boy actually stops Spectrum from shooting. Cannon stares down Pretty Boy, and it's kind of like a weird shot because Pretty Boy's face is completely obscured by his mask. So it's just like Cannon looking really intense, and then just like this monstrosity of shapes looking back at her.
Monstrosity of Shapes was my nickname in high school.
It's a good nickname. What was the short form of it?
Monstro!
Moss.
Moss? Oh.
Oh, that's really cute. I like that.
Pretty Boy goes to use whatever his super duper ability is with Sanzo, and I kind of freaked out at this point because I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna like do something wicked awesome and cool? And like all of the faces that are on his shoulders light up, and the figures pop out
This really,
with the masks on.
this really just reminded me of the little ninjas, like that really stupid
the three
movie,
ninjas?
The 3 ninjas.
Yeah, it does look like 3 ninjas because they're color coded. There's like a yellow one, a blue one, and a red one. So monkey, kappa, duck. I don't remember. Pig. One's the pig. Yeah. And what actually happens is a cloud forms, and they fly away. Spectrum and Necrom fly away.
Which makes perfect sense for his character with that cloud, I think. I'm pretty sure that shows up in Journey to the West.
Yes.
It showed up in Dragon Ball, so I'm
It's-
assuming it showed up in Journey to the West.
Basically, they vaped super hard to the point where they made clouds. They ripped some cotton.
Friendship vaped.
They ripped some fat sheets of cotton, just layers and layers and layers and sheets of cotton, and then they flew away on those clouds.
I mean, I wrote that they cloud away, which I think is a much more accurate description of what happened.
I wrote, they cloud away, they high AF on them clouds. What's happening?
Ooh, that is definitely the most accurate.
Yep.
The Cannon's a little upset that she doesn't have her brother back, despite how hard she tried with her words.
Oh, and her stare down. I mean, she was definitely the one trying the hardest at the stare down. Don't forget. It's hard to make your eyes do that. It's way more characters you have to write down in your notepad.
At this point, Taco Time remembers Paint Gnome and how he was trying to become friends with him. And in the distance, Steampunk is trying to drag Paint Gnome away.
That didn't make a lot of sense to me. Doesn't Mr. Steampunk have the ability to, like, just grab souls and make things go into icons and all? Why
Yeah,
is he
I'm pretty sure
grabbing
he
him by the
needs- he
arms? Why
needs
is he
to,
doing
like,
physical labor?
Point him towards a building to paint so that he can hack the Matrix. I don't know.
Wait, what? Why did he make him paint the building? Why didn't he just go into the building?
He's a ghost. He can be invisible. No one can stop him ever.
Why did he do any of these things? I don't understand why he brought Paint Gnome along. I just questioned the reality of this episode, and I don't know why, and I need to stop. Somebody stop me, please.
Mr. Steampunk turns into Super Gnome, Super Gnome,
Mm-hmm.
blasted out Super Gnome, raggedy Super Gnome, and engages with Booster Juice. And while they're like fighting, we hear a machine gun loading, I
Yep.
believe,
Mm-hmm.
as Mr. Steampunk McGnome puts an icon in his wrist holster and then transforms into the Mafia Gnome from way the hell back in time.
Didn't that gnome get destroyed?
Just hold on. Take a second to appreciate the sentence that you just said.
The Mafia Gnome?
The
Mr.
Mick gnome?
Steampunk transformed into a Mafia Gnome?
Wrist holster.
Yep.
Mafia gnome.
Yep. This is your fault.
Yep, no,
with
continue.
your autocorrect. Your autocorrect created
I'm sorry,
that sentence.
but this is Apple's fault. EYE Apple.
Apply.
That's what they're called.
I'm gonna believe you on that.
So I kind of miss the personality of Mafia Gnome as opposed to Steampunk Gnome. Because Mafia Gnome had personality, and Steampunk has science.
Mobster Gnome also had like that really neat car that he could not drive in any possible way.
He was in the back seat, and a generic gnome had to drive. So Booster Juice is all like, "I'm your friend, Paint Gnome. I'll protect you." And he transforms into Benkei. And I just realized that he was Booster Juice, and the Benkei is the best looking with Booster Juice we have seen so far.
Mm-hmm. The
Oh,
red and the
you're-
white goes well together.
You're right. Oh man, I didn't notice it the first time. That good.
It's like the only one that actually looks good with this.
Well, there's so
outfit.
much red in the Booster Juice outfit. Like, I don't know if any of the colors are really going to go with it other than something very plain,
Yeah.
like the white.
Or black.
Yeah, more black would be okay.
Definitely not more red, though.
No. Man, I'd forgotten so much about the mobster outfit having the fake holes and the fake tissue, and it's a good outfit.
So Steampunk is trying to convince Taco that it's useless to try to befriend a gnome, and Taco's all like, "No, I'll prove to you the power of friendship. I can connect with him because he has heart." And then he uses Omega Bomber to block some machine gun shots, and then send Super Gnome off on a journey through the sky.
That's a very nice way of putting it.
I think he actually just like flies away. He takes the jacket off and flies away.
Yeah, I think
that
it
might be
looks
the-
a little like he was like Team Rocket blasting off again, though.
We are now back at Snapple HQ at nighttime,
Having a little Snapple meeting.
chatting to Cannon.
Well, kind of like reviewing what happened in the episode, but to canon now, and Taco Time telling her how he wants to be friends with Paint Gnome and maybe one day with Pretty Boy as well. You know, giving out all of his squad goal lists for the evening.
Yeah, and he's holding on to the Benkei icon, and he looks down at it and kind of gets sucked into the internal space to, I guess, Benkei world, which is just a bridge.
When Taco says that he wants to be friends, though, with Paint Gnome, everyone's like, "No, why? Why would you? Why? He's a gnome.
He's got so many eyes, Taco Time.
Yeah, you don't want this."
We can't tell which eye to look into when we're speaking to Paint Gnome, and it makes us very uncomfortable.
Benkei tells him that his resolve is pretty awesome. He's, doing well there, but, you gotta listen to people, and then you'll become stronger
So
through the power of listening and looking.
Is he telling him to listen to his friends who are saying that he shouldn't be friends with Paint Gnome, or is he telling them that he should be trying to be friends with Paint Gnome?
I think he's telling him to listen to Paint Gnome.
I can't tell which people he's supposed to be listening to, because if he listens to everybody, he's going to have a hard time doing what everybody wants.
And the episode ends with us still in Benkei world.
Well, he lives there now. Forever. It's a nice place. It's a nice bridge. People like bridges. And
Oh, wow. Okay, so the way they've got the icons lined up now in the different groups is that I think Taco has 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And Spectre has 11 to 13, and then Necrom has 14 and 15. So they're really, really evenly divided up.
I like that they made sure to not skip any in between their groupings.
I don't know why they keep the icon files separate for Necrom and Spectrum right now.
I think just for continuity of the end of the show.
Maybe
Because we're
Necrom
used to that
doesn't
being
know
done.
that Spectrum has those 3? I mean, he only can say yes to everything he says. So if he says, "Do you have icons?" and he says yes, and it's like, "Which ones?" Yes. Okay. Not really useful answer. Do you not have icons? Yes. Oh, so you don't have any icons. That's correct. Okay. Maybe I need to start letting you say more than head nods.
So I really liked the episode overall. Like, I liked Paint Gnome, even though he's a horrible monstrosity. And
But a kind monstrosity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got heart.
Very sweet.
And we got to see Best Dad. We got to see him now. And my goal for the future is to see Pretty Boy eat a takoyaki.
Yeah, me too.
I think when he finally tries it, he's going to enjoy it. I think that might be what scares him the most.
And then he has to die tragically after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The beauty of takoyaki has been revealed to him.
Do you think he'll die to Sweaty Boy? Do you think it'll be one of those tragedies between brothers? Or do you think
he might have
between
to
friends?
sacrifice himself?
Sacrifice himself for
friend.
Makoto or Cannon? Or both?
Oh, both.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not for Taco Time.
Maybe Cannon gets kidnapped, and he has to sacrifice himself to boost Makoto so that Makoto can get her back.
And then at the end, he mentions how Taco Time was right, even though he was not sacrificing himself for Taco Time.
Yes.
So he can get the full spectrum of things going on.
Friendship, Kate.
No.
Friendship.
No.
I wasn't actually trying to make that pun on purpose. It just
Sure.
happened.
Sure.
It's not even a pun. Like, really.
No,
you
it's
just
not.
said a word.
You don't like that word anymore?
It's like if you're like, no, I can't even make a bad
You can't
comparison
just on
because it's
on
the worst possible thing you could have done.
No, I think the worst thing is the heart to make art.
Kate, I could not have done the worst thing this episode. Corey is the one who doesn't want to get the friendship tattoo that she totally wanted to get
yeah,
at the
what
front.
a jerk.
So, I am not the worst this episode. This time it's Corey.
Hit you.
Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed, throw a like on that podcast on YouTube, GHOSTWATCH2016, and we got you can hook up on that iTunes, the GHOSTWATCH 2016.
What else?
We got Twitter if you have any fan art for Yuri on Ice 2020 or other things.
With Kanye West for vice pres.
Or if you want to draw your own paint gnome and send that our way.
Or even just want to leave comments on the podcast. We'd like to hear what you have to say.
Yep. And you can check everything out with links to all of the above at GHOSTWATCH2016.xyz or z.
Depending on how you like to pronounce that letter. Or write it down.
Depending
One
on
has more characters than the other.
how much of a monster you are.
Goodbye. Have a good day. Have a nice life.
Bye.
Goodbye.